Just tuning in right now. We just had a little hiccup, but I am here granting you guys full access, as I said. Tonight, we're going to be talking about entry level financial literacy, credit restoration. Entry level. Main thing that I told everyone is you need to have your consumer report. If you don't have that already, just go ahead, click the link, and we can go ahead and get you started for today. We're going to have Q&A. Let me make sure that I drop the link for you guys for the ones that do not have it. And we're not going to be on here too long, depending on you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I pin that link. So we are live in all platforms. And let me pin that over here. So if you're not following me already on TikTok, make sure that you guys like, share, get everybody in this room tonight. Make sure that you're following me. Now, I am live on all the other social media platforms. So YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, um, and Facebook. Okay. So if you guys already tonight, you already know what we up in here for. We're not here to play any type of games. I need you to go ahead, get your consumer report. When you have your consumer report, we're going to go ahead, go through it after the presentation to make sure that what do you qualify for. A lot of people do not know that there are plenty inaccuracies that you can have on your account. And when you have that, you can get some money. Okay. So if you are on while I have the presentation, I'm going to share my screen. You're going to see this on YouTube. So go ahead. Everything on all social media platforms will be Wealthionaire, right? Or the Wealthionaire. But typically I kept it simple. It should be Wealthionaire. So you're able to go there, find me on YouTube. Unfortunately, on YouTube is the only place that you're going to be able to see the presentation because I have to get the 1,000 followers with Instagram and TikTok. So if you are present, I'm asking for you, girl. Just make sure that you go on Instagram and TikTok. Make sure you follow, hit the notification. So why I am here to help you with your consumer's report. I always like to talk about language, and what we're going to be talking about is your credit report. Your credit report, what's on your credit report, how you need to read your credit report, and to go ahead and make sure that if there are any type of violations on your consumer report, we can get that fixed. Okay. So right now, we're just going to do a quick introduction. I want everybody, if you're in here, make sure you let me know where you're from. I'm in Chicago. Wherever you're from, make sure you tap in. And after that, I'm just going to go ahead and get started, you guys. I am ready. I am ready for tonight. So I have a couple of people that they said that they had the reports. Again, only simple steps that you need to do is the link that I provided. You're going to go ahead and you're going to go through that link. That's going to bring up a form. The form is going to be the first step. You have to sign up for My Score IQ. This is a FICO credit monitoring system. And you guys should know by now, between FICO and Vantage, you want to make sure that you are using FICO. FICO is the primary credit monitoring system that all of the lenders are using. So if you have Credit Karma and they saying that you have a score of 750 and then you try to go and apply for things and you get denied, the reason why you get denied is because you're on Vantage. You have to be on FICO. So for you to know if you're using FICO, this is the link that I had already pinned down on the screen. That's the only link that you're going to use for $1. Okay, you're going to pay $1 for tonight for me to actually sit here and talk to you to see where you are in your credit era. Now, here's a couple of little different things that I want you guys to do while we're here. Primary thing, you have to listen with your eyes. Okay, listen with your eyes, because what happens is a lot of people, when they see with their eyes, You can have a lot of people out here lying to you, setting it up and telling you all these different things that is not accurate. Okay. I need you to actually listen with your eyes. It's a little different, but this is exactly what my pastor has said. You got to learn how to listen with your eyes, you guys. So I'm going to walk you through. Instead of, I'm not gatekeeping any type of information. Instead of you having to pay a lot of money to just get in these different type of groups and all these other different type of things, we're not going to do that tonight. So I'm just going to be here really quickly to let you guys know specifically what we can do, the services that I provide, and how I'm going to help. All right. So if you are on the other social media platforms, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. You can look for this on YouTube. Let's see what I got my stuff in now. Hey, you guys, while you coming in, you tapping in. Okay. So again, if you guys are in here, I am showing you specifically how we're going to read your consumer report, all of the things that individuals are keeping away from you that you don't know about. This is us bridging the gap of financial literacy, understanding what you need to have. Okay. What's going on, you guys? Hi. Again, what I'll be teaching here is how to read your consumer report. Okay. I have a specialist, even for me, myself. This is something past financial literacy. This is something that a lot of the wealthy individuals use that I'm going to show you tonight. We're going to have live Q&A. So the link in the bio, you're going to pull your consumer report just for $1. Whatever's on there, I'm going to give you assistance tonight. I also have the service. There also will be some things that I cannot just fully provide with you on the internet, but I'm going to have the consultation with you, and then you can also get the services that I will provide. Okay, so let me go ahead now. Again, on TikTok, because I don't have 1,000 followers at the moment, you're going to have to go on YouTube, because I'm live everywhere else, YouTube, Facebook, and you're able to see my screen. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen now. All right, you guys, here we go. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. You're going to kind of want me at the bottom. Can you guys see my screen? All right, for everyone that is on Instagram, everybody that's on Facebook, let me know. Can you see my screen? Okay, over here you guys can. All right, so really quickly, again, this is Wednesday nights, moving for the rest of the month up into April. Wednesday night, I'm going to be here teaching you about credit, the fundamentals about credit restoration, what you need, how to look at your credit report. Again, you guys, I'll make sure that I tell you, please do not, any information that's here, I try to make sure when I'm talking to anyone or when I'm somewhere, please try not to be judgmental. You know, we always want to make sure that we verify our information. That's a part of you being a wealthionaire. This is what I actually strategize to make sure, instead of you paying thousands of dollars to somebody, you know, and then that you do not get the results, is because you do not have the education. And when you don't have the education, you cannot adequately ask questions or to receive the information that's needed. So again, if you are here, I'm live on all the social media platforms. Make sure for tonight, for the Q&A, that I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the information. I'm going to give you the information. The pen, make sure you go fill out the form. The first step is for you to just get the My Score. Again, My Score is for FICO. You do not want Vantage. So that's why you have an issue when you're on Credit Karma and all these other different type of apps that are advertised, right? The ones, and you gotta understand too, a lot of marketing, when these companies are not as good as they say they are, they do all these type of advertising. They tell you a lot. World's Worst, they don't advertise, right? So if you go onto YouTube, you're going to see the presentation. So the first one, again, for the rest of this month, for April, Wednesday nights at 7 p.m., I'm going to come here and we're going to discuss your consumer report. We're going to discuss different type of violations. We're going to discuss how the wealthy stay rich. Okay. All right. So let's get going. Let's get going. Okay, you guys. All right, so I'm going to skip a couple of things because we're kind of behind. I'm going to skip over a couple of things because I want to go here. Now, far as the racial wealth gap, I need you guys to understand, if you're looking at my screen, this is what it's telling you. An average Black household has an income of $24,000. An average household. $24,000. And when we're talking about this number, we're not just talking about one individual. This can be you, your wife, your children. An average income is $24,000 compared to a white household. You guys see the number, 100 and what? What is that number? Let's look at this number here, and let me make sure that I zoom everything in so you guys can see. My bad. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Okay, we stop there. $188,000. $188,000. Do you not understand that there's actually wealth gap in this? Can you look at these numbers? When we're talking about in Chicago alone, when I do my data, compared to a Black family household, do you not know the average dollar is $0? They actually almost have $0 in savings or some type of investments compared to a white family household, $210,000. The dollar ratio, $100 to versus $100 in a white family household versus $15 in a Black family household. Let it make sense, you guys. So our income gaps become persistent far as with wages, education levels, also in housing and lending. When you want to get housing, when you want to be able to live in these nice neighborhoods. Why? Because the wealth gap, job access, right? You have lack of high wages, your networking. You want to understand that why sometimes you go to different jobs and they're still trying to fight for $15 an hour here in Chicago. Come on, you people. $15 an hour, add that up. 15, and you only getting paid twice a month. And when we only getting paid twice a month, and then for the rest of the year, you wonder why it's at $24,000. Do you think anybody else of any other ethnicity is fighting for $15 an hour? No, or even if they are $15 an hour, they probably have more hours than you do, right? Okay, so the next thing we're going to discuss again, this is something that I want. This is real here. This picture here is real. This family over here, I know that I myself can recognize. Even this family over here, I can recognize. Coming from Chicago, Illinois, on the south side of Chicago, also living in Vegas, living in Florida, right? Even for myself traveling, I understood this. Even though my mother's house, our house was good, but I understood that we lived in the projects, and living in the projects, that's subsidized income. I remember these days, fights, trying to understand where the next dollar is going to come from, because we lack financial literacy. We lack the ability to know there is financial alphabets compared to this family over here. This family over here can actually have the same thing with this family over here, but they wear it differently. Come on, you guys. What we call that is we own nothing but control everything, right? So this is basically what it looks like. Now, the next thing, I'm going to let this play. I want you guys to understand that most people aren't broke because of income. They're broke because of information. You understand? When we do not have information, we cannot strategize, we cannot emphasize, and we definitely cannot dedicate ourselves enough to make sure that we pass down some type of wealth literacy. All right? Because while you at your 9 to 5 slaving for somebody else's talent or the ability for them to think on the ownership, you're going to have to do a lot of the laboring. So again, once we replace misinformation with strategy, you stop playing defense with money and start positioning for power, right? So eventually, guys, I'm super proud of myself even learning something different, because this is a whole, I purchased this system. This is something what broadcasters actually use, and I'm trying to do it for myself. All right, so everybody really understand that when you're an entrepreneur, you have a lot of hats, right? And then we hire, but I actually like to try to find things out for myself and then hire someone, so at least I know the ins and outs, right? So I'm quite sure that everyone has their consumer report. Now we're about to get down to the nitty gritty. All right, having your consumer report. Give me 1 second here. I see you guys are sending me something. I just want to make sure that I'm checking in the right places, because eventually I got my monitoring system. I'll be able to look with all the screens and everything that's on here and be able to communicate with you guys effectively as I could. Now, we're going to break down what is a credit report basics, okay? With your consumer report, because I like to make sure that we talk the terminology that you have to identify for when you have to, when you are speaking, even for myself, when you are speaking, you're actually able to clarify your needs, your wants, and your objective, the goal. So these are some things that we're going to go over. Again, you guys, you should every month, you should have that subscription that I provided for you guys. You need to have a credit monitoring service. Have you guys already seen the other video where there is an athlete, 4.2 million dollars. His identity was taken and he was able to get approved for $4.2 million of loan. So when I tell you, with a lot of my different clients that I have, and I explain to them, yes, you can get a loan. Some people think, I can get that amount of money. Oh, yes, you can. When you see these skyscrapers and all these different type of developments going on, nobody putting cash on the table. Nobody's doing that. We're not putting cash on the table. We're putting our assets and equity in your name that's in the black and white on the table. All right. So this is how we're going to do the basis for when you are identifying your consumer report. Hi, King. Kim, how are you doing? So when you have your consumer report, on the consumer report, number one, people need to understand your credit. Your credit score is basically going to be housed with 5 different factors. Okay, you're going to have to go into last week's class to actually go through those, because I want to get a chance to make sure that I answers everyone's questions tonight. But these will be some basics. You want to make sure that your credit score is not the idea of your consumer report. I keep expressing that as well. A credit score, if you have a credit score that's 700, 600, close to 800, and you're getting denied, you want to know why? It's because it's not about your credit score. It's about your consumer report, everything that's on there, right? So just think about sometimes when a person get incarcerated, or if you have a background, whatever it is, it's everything that's on that black and white that tailors you to identify who you are if a person is reading it. So again, when we talk about a consumer report, I tell people, let's think about a sandwich. You have the top piece of bread and the bottom piece of the bread. Everything that's in between the sandwich, the mayo, the mustard, the jalapeno peppers, the salt, the pepper, the meat, you know, the cheese, everything that's on your sandwich is basically your consumer report. That's what makes the sandwich good, not the scores, you guys. Following me? Go ahead and drop some hearts if you guys are still following me. Drop some hearts, interact with me so I can still sit here. If you're tuning in, I am Wealthionaire Nakaji. I am here to leverage and identify and help you through your consumer report only for $1 to let you know the ins and out of the basic fundamental principles of how to read your consumer report that can have an entry level of removing inaccuracies, even having a lawsuit because the credit agencies or collection agencies contacted you and that is a violation. Ain't that good, you guys? I know that's really good. Okay. So as I was saying, with the credit report, with your consumer report, the top bread, the bottom piece of bread, yes, that can be your score, but it's everything that's in between. Every month, you should make sure that you know what's on your consumer profile by going to the link, My Score IQ. You're going to make sure that you pay every month. And then number two, you need to pull your annual credit report. So for the difference between the two reports, you guys, one report is the credit monitoring, which tells you everything and what's been done with your social security number. Okay. And it also gives you a credit score. The annual credit report is something that provides you the overall presentation of your social security number or your consumer report. Everything that you have ever done is going to be there. This also is the introduction or the only report that is used in the court system. And that's for any type of lawsuits that you're going to be doing. All right. So these two go hand in hand. And as I expressed to you guys, if you're getting your hair, your lashes, taking on the dates, getting trips, barbershops, the new clothes, the new latest shoes, this is a primary subscription that you need to have. It is a must. This is something that you can look and say, eventually when you get in, you say, oh, somebody messed up on something. I got an extra $1,000 plus. You can even get up to $30,000. I've seen people sue for $30,000. Right now, you think this is a game, but that is how the wealth strategize the game. This is what they do. Okay. So once you have those two, now we're going to talk about when I speak about defining your credit and how it impacts you. This is what we're going to go into. It can impact you from housing, employment, your insurance, any type of funding, anything with your social security number, it impacts you. So you want to make sure that you know specifically what's on your consumer report. The 5 factors that I was explaining to you, that meat and potatoes, right? That in between of the sandwich for your consumer report, the score is just the top and the bottom piece of bread. All right. Now, the 5 factors are the meats and everything that's juicy on this sandwich. So we have number 1, 35% of your consumer report reflects your payment history. Your payment history is how often you pay on time with all your bills, anything that's on there. When you pay on time, you have to be connected with 3 primary dates. That's your billing cycle. Those usually typically that 1 to 30, even though we have 31 days. That's a summary. Number 2 is your due date. That's the date that you have to pay your bill, right? And you can move that date at least once every quarter. You can move that date as well. All right. So if you had it on a 15 one day and then the next month, but it usually takes 1 billing cycle or sometimes 2 billing cycles, and you could change it and you can say, oh, I want it on the 19th. A lot of people don't know that. So that's another way that you can leverage paying and being on time. All right. And the third most important is what we call the reporting date. The reporting date is the day that the credit agencies, not bureaus, the credit agencies Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. These are the days that they report to who, you guys? FICO. This is the day that they primarily report to FICO, but they report to any credit monitoring service. They're saying, hey, yes, Mr. or Mrs. such and such, but typically it's that 9-digit social security number with your name, has not paid on time, has or has not have credit. How you doing today, Tyler? Tyler, today we're talking about really quickly, what I'm doing is educating you on your credit report. Wouldn't it be nice if I can show you something for $1 that can actually get you $1,000 or $30,000 or more based off inaccuracies and errors on your consumer report? But I'm teaching everyone how to read it. So what you can do, Tyler, right now is just basically go above. I had already pinned the comment. You can get your consumer report just for $1. So I'm actually teaching people right now just the basics between FICO. You need to always make sure you have your FICO versus a Vantage score. You can go back and look at that, okay? Now, going back, the next second factor is the amount owed. We call this utilization. This is a 30% impact of your score. So when I say your utilization, that means if I gave you something, how much of it did you use? And when it came back to my due date, did you pay me back on time and the full amount? So just for the sake of math, what I'm saying, you guys, when you have a credit card, and I want to express to everyone, if you have a credit card that's $300, you need to throw it away. You need to hurry up and contact me as soon as possible, because all of my wealthionaires out there, the bare minimum of your entry level, you need to have a $5,000 or more credit card, and even that small. That's small, you guys. Even if you have, I'll give you 2,500, because when I first started, I had a story about a 300 credit card, and that was before I even knew anything, and that was some years before, and I actually came back to Chicago for college. So anyways, for sake of time, the 30% of your credit age, not your credit age, your utilization, if you have a credit card, and let's just say it's $1,000 on the due date of the 15th, a lot of people, you will hear them say 30%. You got to have 30%. No, that's a D. You do not want to have that. What you want to have is making sure that you have at least 10% and below. Okay. When you go into my group, Wealthionaire Mental Carriers, okay, on Facebook, I can see you the information to join the free group. It's free right now. I can show you how to actually do the math of knowing what's your average. So the 10%, when your due date come on the 15th, instead of, if you use $90 of your credit limit that was $100, and a due date come, that's going to say what, you guys? Put the zero on the end. That's 90%. You have used 90%. That's bad or good? Yeah, we know it's bad. So on that specific day, you need to make sure that it's at least, you got to pay it off. If you use $90, right, you need to make sure that you pay that $90 back of the 100, because 10 is left. That's 10% of your utilization. Next one, 15%, length of history. This is very important. The length of history basically speaks about how much history you have on, or accounts that you have on your name. How friendly are you with other type of finances? That's credit, houses, mortgage loans. That's also vehicles, any of these type of things. How well and how many accounts do you have, and how long did you keep them? When you are a valuable customer, and you make sure that you pay things off on time, and you never end them, you never jeopardize those relationships, it speaks a lot of value. That's why we have the 15% of the length of credit history. So again, that's the third one. Now the other two are 10%. 10% of new credit. New credit basically is speaking about how many accounts are you opening. This is very tricky. Somebody say how. And I'm going to tell you, right? The reason why that you do not want to make sure that you have more than 10% or opening up new cars all the time, that means you're fishing. That means you have no stability. This is how the lenders, the underwriters will basically value you. If you're consistently doing all these different things, you sure you're not going to forget about me? You sure you're not going to be able to pay me on time when I need it, how I need it? Wait a minute. I thought me and you were just dating. Now you're trying to date a whole lot of other new people, right? So a lot of those things, it can ding you. So you want to make sure that you open up accounts strategy, have a strategy for it. And we talk more about that into my community. All right. 10% credit mix. Credit mix, they want to see, yes. Can I give you something? Can you handle it? Can I give you a credit card and you can handle it without fumbling? Can I give you a mortgage loan? Can I give you an equipment loan? Can I give you a vehicle loan? All these different things is considered a credit mix. All right. So the best way to make sure that these are the 5 factors in that sandwich, that meat that makes up everything for you. So you want to make sure that that you guys make sure that you have these to a T. Now, the good part, let's break down this credit report, this consumer report. Everybody has their report. Let me make sure. Let me check over here to my other family. Make sure that you guys, I'm sorry, you guys, this is new. So I hope that we're doing everything. I don't know how I'm able to see the comments from Facebook, but if you guys make sure that you come over to either TikTok or you guys just stay there, I'll make sure that I come back and find how I can get those comments. Or if you can go over to TikTok, I can pull you through live on TikTok, and we can, if you have any other questions, you can put them there. All right. So now, when we're talking about your consumer report, the consumer report has a couple of different things. At the top, when you're reading your report, it's going to say personal information. That's the headline. Your personal information would include your name, any type of alias, your current address, your previous address, any address that was connected to a social security number or your name. And a lot of this information we also discuss about skip tracing. Your social security number is there, your date of birth, your employer, and a contact number. All right. So you want to make sure that's one headline. Now, what I mean by sometimes finding inaccuracies. If your name is Tiffany Susan George and you see Tiffany George, or you see Tiffany S. George, all those can be 3 different people. That is misinformed information. Now, who knows if that's with you? Because what happened is if you have Tiffany S. George and someone put an account that's not connected to your SSN, you got a problem. You have some inaccuracies there. The credit agencies do skip tracing where they just only see if the first 2 letters, the last 2 letters, address, if it kind of seems like it's yours, they're going to put it on your file. So that's why it's very important that you make sure, however your name is on your ID or the name that you prefer it to be. So if you want it to be Tiffany S. George, Tiffany S. George needs to be across all those 3 columns. Are you guys with me? You're still with me? Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me back. Put a little hearts or something like that there. Like it. Make sure that you guys go ahead and subscribe, follow me on everything that I'm doing. Right? Dang, you guys. I think I did not have this mic on the whole time. I see my little things pop. All right, let me fix my little self. All right. Okay, now it's up there. All right, so I hope I was doing good. Guys, I just figured out the mic wasn't even on, but I'm quite sure I was projecting my voice loud enough. All right, so you want to make sure your name is similar. All across those three columns. One's going to say TransUnion, one's going to say Equifax, and the other one's going to say Experian. Everything needs to be the same. The format for this should be one name, one current address that's on your ID. I don't care if you stay with your husband, your baby mama, your sister, your auntie, your grandma, your mother. If that's not the address on your current ID or driver's license, it's inadequate. Okay, it's incorrect. Next, you need to make sure your Social Security. You also, with your Social Security, you can X that out. You can tell them to only have your last 4 digits. There's a lot of different ways. I say no to no cell numbers. I say yes to one employer. Everything needs to be one across this field. Next thing, account information. Your account information. What's going to happen? You're going to see those account names. Some stuff may say creditor, furniture, then you have the accounts, all these different numbers as far as the date that it was open, have balance, how much you owe, when it was closed, a CO, probably a bank, BKR, BKT. There's all different type of abbreviations on this account information. However, the only thing that we need to talk about now for this one is you need to go and say, did I have this? Did I do this? Did I did that? That's it, right? Even if you think or you thought, we just want to make sure if this was properly something yours. If you have things on there with the account, as far as if it's closed, if it says CO, charge off, if you have LP, late payments, right? If you have at the bottom where you have those little boxes where they can be all green where it says okay, some of them can say 30, 60, 90, 120. If you have boxes down there that says 60, 60 or 30, 90, 60, 30, 30, those are a lot of inaccuracies. So that's the account history. Now, the next part is you're going to, before the credit in before then, the next one was going to be your public records or your collections. Okay, so the public records are basically anything that you have a lien, bankruptcies, those type of things will be at the bottom. If you have something there, make sure that you go ahead and say yes I do, yes I do, really quickly. I think this might probably die, you guys. Try this one. I think this the one that's plugged in. All right. The next thing, far as when we get to the hard inquiries, we have hard inquiries and soft inquiries. Hard inquiries do impact your score between 2 to 5 points. Soft inquiries don't. However, I have learned now, based off my experience with soft inquiries, even though it don't go against you, the underwriters can still see that. And when they see soft inquiries, they understood that you did what? You went to pursue. And did you develop that relationship? If that relationship wasn't developed and it's not on your credit profile as an account, they're looking at that and saying, uh-oh, what happened? Right? So before it is a situation where they cannot do that. But again, when underwriters decide to make a decision, that's them making a decision, not you. They don't have to say, yes, I did that. But hard inquiries, yes, if you have hard inquiries, it typically takes 2 to 7 years for a hard inquiry, 2 to 5 years for a hard inquiry to be removed. But there are significant methods that I have established where that can actually be a gray area. Okay. Next, you're going to have what we call the consumer statements. Consumer statements at the bottom where you can either opt in, opt out. These are, if you have identity theft, these are statements that can alert all credit monitoring furnitures, right? Or people with that you're trying to get accounts that, hey, this profile has been X, Y, and Z. And what I love to communicate this is tag. The account has been tagged. If you have a statement in this section, that needs to be removed. It's killing you. It's killing you. It's showing you as a bad person. Something, not a bad person, excuse me. It's showing that, something's going on. So, be on the fence with this, right? So overall, again, I always try to make sure that I tell people information change situations. And situations change when you stop procrastination. I had to learn that a lot. Me being the first six-figure earner in my family, I did not really understand financial literacy. And I had to be the individual to get everything correct, because you know why? I couldn't go to no one to talk about what was the issues. I had to make sure that if something didn't happen, and I'm still there to you guys, if something happened, who I'm going to fall back on. And so every time I sat there, I had to make sure I crossed every T and dotted every I and crossed every path. And sometimes that take you a long time besides just getting out there and understanding the experience. Now, I'm not saying to just go and lead the way on a lot of these different things. I'm not saying that. I'm making sure that you at least be proactive, right? Being proactive. So with that, I'm going to open the floor. If you guys already oh yeah, so I'm sorry, thought I did have this. So this is basically what a good consumer profile looks like that I can get you approved for a lot of personal funding and business funding. Okay. So here, when we talked about that payment history, if you look to the left of my screen, right here, you guys, these are the 5 factors of your account. All right. Not this here. The credit inquiries is not part of that 5-factor 35, 30, 15, 10, 10, as I was explaining. But the hard inquiries are it does impact your consumer report. You need to make sure that you have no more than 2 of those per credit agency, right? But I try to make sure at least no more than 1, depending on the credit cards or something like that we actually got that you can leave on there because we couldn't remove. So you always need to make sure on that due date, we have 100% of your credit debt is being paid off. Okay. You have 0 derogatories. Derogatories can be collections, charge-offs, late payments, closed accounts, bankruptcies. These are considered derogatories. That credit age, that history, we need to make sure at least the bare minimum. What I try to emphasize is, hey, you can have at least 3 years or more, but this area, don't worry about it. This is an area that me, myself, and my team can make sure you can have more age than that. Okay. Accounts. I've always said, yes, at this time when my consumer report is 17, but you can always have at least the bare minimum of 10 to 12 accounts, right? And then the hard inquiries, we need to make sure we have 0. So with this consumer report, you guys, the same thing. You see this color green here? That's why I got wealth in there. We're wealthy in all aspects of life. This green here is where you want to stay at. When you start getting to from the dark green to the middle green, right? And then you get to that light neon, and then you get orange, and then that red. You be like, uh-oh. Okay. So this is how when a consumer sees something, they're not looking at the scores. They're looking at this here, these credit factors, as I explained to you guys. Looking at the credit factors. After we look at the credit factors, then they go into digging in more things that they need as far as analyzing your credit report. All right. So I'm glad that I'm able to go ahead and go over that with you guys really quickly. Now I'm just going to go ahead and open up the floor to anybody that has any questions right now. You can give me any questions. If you can come through, you can give me any questions that you have. Let me make sure that I pin this again. Okay, it's pinned. All right, so anybody have any questions right now, you can come in. I can go ahead and answer any question that you have. If you have your consumer report, as I said to you guys, the link that's there on the channel, I pinned all of them. You go ahead, use that link. If you have anything outside of your consumer report or a question that you already had, I can go ahead and answer that question for you. And then again, I'm gonna, if anything, if you guys can send a message to me or a request, I'm going to go ahead and probably pull you on my screen, and then you can read off your consumer report and tell me if you have any violations that's there that I can go ahead and help you correct. If you are shy and do not want to come on live right now, what you can do, you can always just go ahead to my number. You can text my number and I can send you over my calendar. Okay, I'm going to give you guys the number. Let me know whenever you're ready. Make sure I'm ready for myself, right? Go over here. So let me see. I got my other phone. I'm gonna see how I can make sure that I okay. This phone, give it to you guys. Because maybe I can go here. I should have thought about that too. I can go over here. This phone was dead for a minute. All right. So if you want to, again, so all you got to do is text the number. So this is the number. Area code 561-288-6928. You can just text credit monitoring on there. You went too fast, sis. I don't know who that is. You went fast. If you probably do it again, I'm sorry. I missed it. If you do not want to bring your consumer report online, I can ask you this question, but this is why we're here. This is the point why I'm trying my best to make sure that I educate what I do, how I do things, my relationships that I have, to make sure that this can eliminate, number one, bad information. Number two, you guys spending all your money and then you feel left out, or um, you feel used, or like something to scam because you weren't able to actually identify what you were looking at. So now I'm giving you the opportunity. How you guys, I'm giving you the opportunity. Anything that you have going on with your consumer report, you're going to use the link that I actually provided. It's $1 instead of paying. I told my team and I told the company tonight, listen, we're just going to do it for $1 for these people. Instead of $27 you're paying up front for your credit monitoring service, it's just $1. You speaking to me, a consultation with me is $100. You speaking to me on live. This is something very important that I want to make sure we talk about. Financial literacy. We always talk about bridging the generational gap. But hey, the thing is, how do we do that if we don't know how to? So I'm going on these messages, you guys. You guys gonna have to bear with me. So I'm pushing messages, but I don't see where the message went to. And I see some people trying to jump, but every time I don't know if it's my mic that's attached to it. When you guys try to come on, it jumps off. So let me see. Okay, I got comments. But if you can, whoever messaged me, I see those messages. It said 10 messages. So if you message me, where do I go and get them, y'all? Where do I go to get them? Let me see. I'm trying to see where I go to get them at, y'all. I don't see. But if anything, you can text the number. Text that number, credit monitoring, and then I can send you over. It's gonna send you over my calendar, free of charge. Okay, it's gonna send you over my calendar. So I got two here. Got two here. Okay. I'm just gonna start waving at everybody to get some interaction here. Okay. The other thing, I had a lot of people when I first started, a lot of people, oh, my credit is good. My credit is good. Oh, really? Is it? You sure your credit is good? So if your credit is good, is your knowledge of how to apply your credit, is that good? Right? See, some people are so scared to, some people are so scared to really identify the unknown. But let it be a celebrity, somebody you guys don't know, and that they're flashing what we call a lifestyle, right? Some of that stuff, you know, is borrowed. Do you know it's borrowed? Do you know that they have it on, you know, it's somebody else, so that person can look good to be a front person to bring you in. Okay. So I'm seeing these messages here, you guys. I'm not going to hold up too much, you guys' time. My phone is about to die myself, and I have to jump on one more call. But again, tonight has been such a tremendous blessing for me and for you. Next Wednesday, so on Tuesday, what I'm doing on Tuesdays and Thursday, I am doing the piece where we're talking about properly structuring your business. When you properly structure your business, then we show you how to get business funding, how to establish a business, and if you have an already a business, how to evaluate that one. A lot of business owners tend to think that it's all about turning the key in, turning the key to the left or the right when we open the closing, but you do not go and read up on anything. You don't go to any type of conventions that's in your industry so you can learn more about your business, how to scale your business up. This me right here. This is wealth in there. I am wealthy in all aspects of life. This is something that I love. This is I guess becoming more of a passion of mine, but it's very scary. I can't lie to you guys. This is a scary situation when you're being the first one. Listen, when you're trying to reach out to people, when I tell you guys, this is really a wolf type of industry here, because when you do not have anyone that's behind you to back you up or to protect you, and you have lack of knowledge of things, or you're a seeker, that's easy prey food to a lot of predators. You guys need to understand. So I'm coming here tonight to just basically give you information to share with you what already had made me a six-figure earner, also losing it all. This is you know who I appreciate the most. Not to get off topic, but I will get off topic because we actually need to understand what we have in front of us and how we need to listen. Because I explained to you guys, we have to always make sure that we give me 1 second. I'm trying to get these messages over here, you guys. Um that we have to make sure that we um listen with our eyes and see with your ears. That's something my Pastor John Glenn, had said something, and it was so wow to me. Because what happens is we get so caught up with looking at stuff, and it's just like, oh my God. And that's how sometimes people are so quick to call things a scam, or you get scammed because you're looking at things from the outside instead of just doing this right here and watching. Watch with this. Okay. So again, I had a great time with you guys tonight. I did see a lot of the messages. Again, you guys, don't be shy. Okay. This is my first. This is not, don't be shy. I want you guys not to be shy and actually to come on here, because what happens is I'm only able to give expertise or even pass on more information when you guys, everybody's situation is not the same. So if someone's in a different state, they have a different collection, they have a different bankruptcy, they have this situation, that situation going on. This basically help us lie to say, this happened to me, or this is part of me, or my situation is not like this, but I can actually get out of this situation in a certain type of way. So it would do best if, again, call your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your honey boo boo, whoever it is. Come here next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Get your credit questions answered. Only requirement for you is to use the link. You can go to all my social media platforms and you will see how, instead of paying the $29 for your consumer report, this is one of the top. I have a great relationship with one of the top and best credit monitoring service that there is. If anybody else tell you something different, tell them come see me and I'll tell them why, and I can show it to you in black and white and why they are as such. You do not need to use, anything that has a Vantage score. Stop using Credit Karma. Stop using your bank. Even sometimes with Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, they late. The profile would be right, but the credit score wouldn't. You have to use FICO, and that's My Score IQ, who I partner with. All right. So again, you guys, I thank you so much for your time. On Tuesdays, you will see me here live. We're going to talk about the proper structuring of your business. On Wednesday, you will see me here talking about credit restoration. And on Thursday, we're talking about how we can scale our new business or existing business to get business funded. You can find me on all social media platforms, The Wealthionaire. And don't forget, you guys, I have a new song I am so proud of. Did you guys check it out yet? It's the Wealthionaire anthem. You guys need to go to YouTube. Look at my video. I am so proud of myself. I am tuning out. Don't forget, you can go to my profile, look into my bio, find all information that you need to get connected to me, to speak to someone of my team, and actually to see. I'm trying to tell you guys can go to sleep $1,000 richer or more. But you have to come here and do the easy part of work. All right. So with that, again, I'm so proud that I was actually here to share everything with you guys. My main thing that I want to offer to you tonight, my biggest part that I ever loved, right? As far as going to the house of God, when they say, come and join. This is the biggest thing, because I knew what it was like suffering from depression, being isolated, being, the popular person, having secrets, having so everybody else's pain and everything on my back, not having my identity, didn't know what I was doing, had financial issues. It was just something. When I got a chance to try to find my tribe, this can be your tribe. I am providing you guys to join the Mental Carriers, which is the legacy movement. This is the legacy movement. When I say you a generational, not a curse breaker, you are a generational starter. You are the one who was calling, who's chosen. You're the one who actually see when there's dysfunction. You're the one that say, hey, something is better. This is better. We have to actually start understanding when we are the first to do something, it is very hard for us to do that. Very hard. So you guys can go ahead, click here. I'm also going to pin it in the group. You guys can join the free mental legacy movement group where you have like-minded people where we're just talking about how we can strategize and take over the world. I'm trying to tell you guys, if you guys ever know Prince J, listen, when you can own your own island, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we talking about a lot of assets in this type of group. When you can own things that you never seen, things that never was heard, things that was never done. But I need you to basically trust the process. You can join the legacy movement. You can, again, find wherever I put it at, because in the group I already put it here on social media. You can join the mental carriers. Okay, be a part of that. I'm always open. As I said, as a wealthionaire, we are change agents. We are wealthy in all aspects of life. This is not just about money. This is about everything that I'm doing now. Information change situations, you guys. And if you guys know anything else that can help leverage me, help leverage someone else, that's what I'm about. So again, don't forget those Tuesdays and Thursday nights where I'll be at, and then on Wednesdays. Okay. So I thank you guys for checking in. I am out. You guys have a wonderful night. If you need anything, remember, don't be scared. You can go ahead and text the number area code 561-288-6928. You can text the word credit monitoring, and someone from our team will get to you as soon as possible. You guys have a great night.